But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
This is the 49er Faithful UK show, and we are live once again. We are back. Free agency starts soon, so it's time to go shopping. But will we be shopping at the Spa or at Waitrose? Let's find out. I'm Gareth Ellis, and I'm joined by Paul Hope.
What's up, Faithful? Glad to be back.
Good to see you, Paul, and Lee Gowland.
Hi, everyone.
And good to see you too, Lee.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. The man of the moment can't join us, so we will leave some pleasantries until the next time Nadju is on the show, I think.
Yeah, he's been
If
a
you-
busy
if you
boy.
know,
Gareth.
you know.
Yeah, he's been a
Yeah.
busy
Yeah.
boy. And Lee, welcome back. Feels like a minute since we saw you on the 49er Faithful UK Live.
Yeah. I mean, the last 2 weeks feels like the longest and shortest 2 weeks of my life. I got to the back end of last 2 weeks, and for anybody that doesn't know, so my job takes us to the US every now and again. And the first week I was in Texas to see one of my teams, and then the next week I was in North Carolina. And the climate difference between Texas and North Carolina is considerable. So out in Texas, I think it was 29 degrees most days, so it was absolutely blistering hot. And North Carolina on the Wednesday morning of last week, when I woke up and stood waiting for my Uber, it was -4 with a wind chill factor of -12. And I felt every one of those minus digits.
So just like being at home then.
Yeah, just like being at home.
So you thought about putting long trousers on?
I did, yeah. Yeah, I buttoned up my shirt, my T-shirt.
So we did wonder whether you were going to change your college allegiance, because those people who follow
I
you on
was very
social
tempted.
media must have seen you went to see a certain stadium while you were over there. didn't you?
Yeah, Kyle Field in College Station. So that's where one of my teams is based in College. Actually, based in a town called Bryan, which is attached to College Station. And Texas A&M Aggies play there. So on the Thursday night, my last night in Texas, I decided that I was going to pop around and just take some photos. And it's an incredibly impressive stadium. 102,000 capacity. It was rebuilt back in 2015. And the way they rebuilt it, so they didn't miss a single home game. And the way they rebuilt it was by bit, side by side. So they actually demolished one whole side and started building up, and then did the other side. And it's a really impressive stadium to see.
So yeah, we did wonder
hot.
on the show. We did wonder, but we knew you wouldn't totally change your allegiance. But it is good to have you back. And
I almost bought a jersey.
Did you?
Yeah, I almost bought a jersey, but it was incredibly expensive.
All right, fair
I
dues,
thought I
mate.
might have been able to get it a little bit cheaper being out there, but no, it was incredibly expensive. I think it was coming out at $180.
Any jersey particular, like a player, or was it just more the Texas?
Just a Texas A&M jersey.
Yeah. So we had to, hold the fort, Gareth, whilst he
We
was
did.
over there, doing our best.
We managed to fill an hour of nonsense, though. I think we covered quite a lot of good ground. I think set the foundation for free agency conversations. Lee, you missed it. We talked about our new DC, Raheem Morris. We have been over it, but you happy? You got thoughts to share?
I'd have preferred Swartz. That's who I'd kind of set my heart on, because I think he could have been our Spagnola.
And you don't think Morris can be being Kyle's drinking
I
buddy?
just can't help. I just can't help feeling it's jobs for the boys. It's Kyle's friend, so he got the job.
It's NFL coaching. How I think you're right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, explain how Sorensen got the job.
Because we didn't have any other people
Yes.
available. I think.
Stevie Wonder had been watching him coach. That's how he got the job.
I mean, I don't think Morris is quite the yes man
Gosh.
that Sorensen was. And I think we talked about it last week, Lee, where maybe if Schwartz had been available, Because if you remember last year, we kind of were all in on Salah. And if Salah went and got another job somewhere else, we didn't have a plan B. And I think for me, it struck like Morris was available. That's who Shanahan wanted. They got it done. And then Schwartz became available. So I think there was a mixed bag in the comments last week. Some people wanted Schwartz like you. Some people wanted Morris. So it was quite interesting take last week, wasn't it, Gareth?
Yeah, once again, the Browns just really can't get anything right at all, can they? So,
I mean, to be honest, the success of the court, the success of Morris is going to come down to whether or not we have any fit players.
well,
Yeah, true.
or whether we spend wisely in free agency, of course, and draft
We're
well.
not spending on defense, if I'm honest.
Ah. Well, there we go.
Yeah,
Lee summed it up. That's it.
Smoothly
No
into
spending
it,
on
Gareth.
no spending on defense. It wouldn't be the off season without a bit of contract drama. Trent Williams is the latest one, coming into the last year of his deal. What do you make of this? I think. Oh yeah, what do you make of it?
From what I gather, Trent Williams doesn't really have very much leverage. Because if he's asking for an extension, another 2-year deal, and based off his bonuses, his roster bonus being there on day one, he can't really hold out because he's going to lose so much money. He's going to lose more money than what he's going to gain from a 2-year contract.
I don't know that he's asking for more. I think we're asking to try and get his cap hit down.
I
That's
think
my understanding.
Yeah, my understanding
Yeah.
was when we signed this deal, it was with the intention of winning a ring, and Trent at this point probably retiring, and that 39 million cap hit that we're looking at now wouldn't have been something to worry about because he would have kind of retired. But I think he's only got 10 million. I say only 10 million in guarantees, Lee. And I think that's the key sticking point at the moment. Other than that, he's got no more guarantees in his contract. And I think the fact that he doesn't have any leverage, but the team have gone to him and said, obviously, we're trying to work the numbers. You're due to hit 39 million on the salary cap this year. Can we do something? And I think the talk is we maybe do a 2-year extension, move some money around, restructure some stuff. So I don't think he's going to be a free agent, Gareth. And I think the noise at the combine from John Lynch was he isn't going anywhere. He's a Hall of Famer. We just need to get this done. But as Niners fans, you think, can we just have a quiet off season? Can we not just
it's
have
a
any
distraction.
more drama?
So
It's
at
a
least it's
distraction
early.
that we
At
don't
least
need.
it's early.
I mean, I'm hoping that they get him some help inside the line, and that'll kind of hint at my number one free agent.
Oh,
Well,
look at that, Gareth.
seamlessly.
He's
Do you want to-
transitioning nicely,
It's
isn't
it's
he?
like he's never been away.
Well, do you not want to go
And
through
he's got a
our
graphic.
free agents first? Because
What's
obviously
organised?
we've got a lot.
Go on. I was just going to say, if you've seen the list, I've seen the list. I'm sure Paul's seen the list. Who is the one guy you wouldn't let go? Eddie P for me.
Depends on the money.
I'm glad you said that. Let's have this conversation. Where did we get Eddie P from?
The
Off the
Dolkin.
Exactly, off the street, Paul. We got him off the street, and he's trying to command a £6 million salary, and we picked him off the street.
I wouldn't
We
pay him
don't-
that. No, I wouldn't
Yeah.
pay him that.
We don't need to be paying that sort of money for a kicker, especially when we get the likes of Eddie P off the street, and he was largely good.
He was reliable, I think.
He was. So I wouldn't say as I wouldn't particularly break the bank for Eddie P. There's a couple of players we've got. I would love to re-sign them, but if the price is wrong, I would let them go. The likes of JJ.
Yeah. I think he'll be gone.
What's your limit for JJ Lee? If you're looking at money per year, what's your what you're looking at?
I don't think we can go above 15, to be honest.
Yeah, that's I'm going to say I wouldn't pay more than 15. I love JJ, but
Yeah.
when you're at this end of the contract and you've got the draft and you've got the free
Yeah.
agents, I don't think I'd be paying him wide receiver one money. That's for sure.
No, I think
Yeah,
that's about right. It's kind of slot receiver level, isn't it? So maybe
There's
15,
some players
16.
on there. There's some players on there that we could probably get for a reasonably small amount. The likes of Ben Barch. I'll bring Ben Barch back because I think we could get him really cheap. to re-sign him. Obviously, he's coming off that injury. I think he'll be fine. And when he has played, he has shown glimpses of a decent level of playing. It's just that he doesn't play consistently enough to kind of progress with that. I remember Alex Boone. Alex Boone, I think he spent about 4 years on the practice squad before he eventually broke into the team. And when he did break into the team, he was excellent. We managed to keep him for, I think it was four years before he ended up going off to, I'm going to say the Vikings. I think it was the Vikings got him in free agency. But if you persist in the practice squad, keep plugging away and get your chance, just grab it. And I think Ben Barch could be like that.
So Justin disagrees. He says no on Barch. I think for me, you cast your mind back to last year and we lost in free agency because, you know, it opened, a lot of teams paid our players. Like, I think Spencer Burford, he may be out of our price range. He might get a deal that, like, some of the offensive linemen got last year. And I think it comes down to some of those big contracts are coming back to bite. And, you know, a lot of talk this year, the Niners, is we have to get younger, we have to get cheaper. And you've put that list up there. I mean, JJ would be one I would love to re-sign if the money was right. The kicker, as Lee said, you know, Matt Gay came in last year when Eddie P had a week off. So have we learned our lesson? We don't draft a kicker. What about you, Gareth? Is there anyone on that list that you think, right, no matter what the money is, he has to be a Niner this season?
No, not anybody, no matter where the money is. I think, like you said, Barch. I mean, Barch has been hanging around. I think if it's a team friendly deal, then yeah, you need experienced guys who know the system at his position. In some respects, there's some of these I'd probably let Burford go unless it's particularly good, and some of these other guys, Kevin Givens, probably let him go. Gross Matos, let him go. Brian Robinson, didn't see enough. I'd let him go.
I think
Matt
Robinson
Hennessy.
would
I mean,
want
who else we
money,
got
Gareth.
there? Yeah, so Sky Moore, I would like to keep if we can make a deal. I'd pay Sky
I
Moore
agree with that. Yeah.
what his market is. I'd pay him that.
Yeah, because you always felt as though he could return one of those kicks.
Yeah, and there was some confidence there. I think he's in terms of fielding the ball. So,
I mean,
go on, Paul.
No, I was just going to say, Lee, I think a different conversation to have is, are we going to spend big in free agency, including
I hope so.
some of the players that you may want? And do we think some of our players are going to command more money? Because it's really interesting this time of year, isn't it? It's kind of that cat and mouse. Do you get out ahead of it? I mean, we were all buzzing that year where we signed Hargrave. That hasn't worked out. You're seeing some other names that were Niners, people wanting them come back. And even now in the chat, I can see some people are saying, yeah, on Barch. Some people are saying no on Barch. Some people are saying Jake Moody is a free agent, Gareth. I mean, you know, it's that wonderful time of free agency.
Dave's drunk saying that, honestly.
Well, other than JJ, I don't think we've got a premium player who's going to hit free agency, unless of course there is a surprising cut. But I can't see that happening, and I can't see us really spending big either. We may be trying to bring a couple of these guys back. I mean, a guy like Clennon Farrell is interesting. Obviously, we signed him in mid-season. He did okay for us. We're going to need those rotation pieces. He's probably is better than Kevin Givens or Jordan Elliott, perhaps. So maybe you keep a guy like that around. See if you can get him for a couple of years for something very team friendly, and I'll be quite happy with that. And that sort of transaction. But I don't think we're going to be big shoppers, but I remain to be surprised. And if we were shopping, funnily enough, I'd love to see us invest in the O-line, but I can't see it happening.
I mean, looking at that list that you've put there, Lee, I mean, Jake Tunges, for me, seems a bit of a shoo-in, given Kittle's injury.
He's restricted free agent, so Tunges is a bit different. Sammy Okawanu is on that restricted list as well. I'd definitely offer him. I'm not sure about like Robert Beal. He's
No.
been around now. Kalia Davis, I think, is being let go.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. And I'd keep
Chase
Kendricks.
Lucas, maybe. He's our other restricted free agent. I'd probably keep him.
And I think they're looking to do a deal with Kendricks as well. But again, at this stage, it all talks about money. I mean, the top guy on the other list, Gross Matos, but is he going to price himself out? Because it's quite obvious that we need edge rush. And even there, is he looking at what, 9 million a year he's looking at? If you go off that sheet there.
He's not really delivered on it, really, has he? So,
But no, it is interesting when you look at the two lists and you think, because let's face it, if we're undecided, the team are probably feeling a bit like that. And I think around the NFL, there's nobody, I think, Gareth, clambering to sign all the players on this list. I mean, Eddie P might want 6 million a year, Lee, but is he going to get that somewhere else? If we don't,
I think the 6 million was actually if you franchise tagged him.
yeah.
as a kicker.
So that's the.
I think that's what that was. So I might have been a bit disingenuous to Eddie P there, as far as what he wants.
But hopefully, if he'll do 2 years at 3.5 each, I'd be happy with that for Eddie P. It's perhaps on the upside, but I think it's you pay a little bit for some reassurance. So.
Yeah, and I mean, we're talking free agency. Obviously, we've got one eye on the draft. You've mentioned there, Gareth, you'd like some all-line help. I mean, the last time we took an all-lineman in the first round, Mike McGlinchey,
A long time ago.
Are we going to be shopping that high in the draft? And if not, are you going to be looking at some of the free agents out there? Because some of those guys go for big money.
Agents, isn't there? There is some good free agents. I don't know if you guys have got your shopping lists sorted out. But
It's got one name on it.
There we go.
It's got one name.
One name on it.
He's going to cost us a fortune, but I've got one name.
Linderbaum.
As long as we get this one person, I think it'll make such a huge difference to the team.
Go on then.
Tyler Linderbaum.
Linderbaum, yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's got to be Tyler Linderbaum.
I can't see the Ravens letting him go. You don't look at a guy like that leave, do you?
But they have, though, haven't they? They have let him go. Well,
You have.
obviously, they've got until next week. Where's he at? He's up here somewhere. There we go. Tell you what, I may as well share that screen rather than just talk to myself. There you go.
Oh, is he on the list? There we go.
Yeah. So he hasn't been franchise tagged. We are, 6 days away?
True.
5 days away from the legal tapping up period. I think he's the guy. I said this back in 2022 when I was doing that interview with Jeff Reinbold and de Blasio. He asked us if we had a number one pick, who was the guy? And I said it then, Tyler Linderbaum. And I still think he's the guy. I think he will make such a huge difference to our O-line.
I love that, but I can't see us
It's going to be expensive.
spending that. And the only way I could see us spending that is if Trent Williams is let go. And I don't think we're seeing that either. I can't see just our aversion to spending any money on the offensive line. I think seems to be. I would be shocked if we reverse that.
Yeah, but you know how good we can do these contracts.
Today's the deadline. Justin got
Is
a
it?
tag today.
I thought that was last Thursday.
No,
I
I
thought tag day was
thought,
last Thursday.
to be honest, Justin, I was going to make a joke at the end of the show about the fact that we've all been franchise tagged again, but, let the cat out of the bag. But it's today, franchise tag Tuesday. I saw something on
Right.
social media about it. So
Okay.
maybe
So
we've
that
gone a
must
bit
be-
hasty going live at what?
Well, I was going to say,
8.
it's normally 9 o'clock our time. It's normally 9 o'clock our time when those deadlines pass. So he's got 40? They've got 41 minutes to tag him.
So as Richard's put there, Lee, he'd be surprised if we target Linderbaum. He wants 25 mil. And as he said there, the Niners do seem to like Brendel. And then Justin added in after tag
Brendel
deadline.
and Tyler Linderbaum is like comparing a Mini Cooper to a Ferrari.
I'm just reading the comments. And then Justin's coming in that after the tag deadline, they've got until July the 15th to negotiate a deal. And yeah, you are correct. 9 p.m. our time. So as per, we're going to spend an hour going down many rabbit holes, talking about what we went. And then
It's all going to change at 1 minute past 9. Yeah, typical, isn't it?
What about you, Paul? Who's top of your shopping list?
I do like Lindebaum, but I don't think we're going to get him. I've seen some talk of Jalen Phillips as Lee's got on there. You know, the fact that we kind of need the edge rush. But again, I don't think we're spending big money, you know, chaps, in free agency. The noise I'm seeing from the combine, the stuff I'm seeing on social media, we've got some contracts that we need to restructure. But I would like to see us splash big. But at the moment, I haven't got a name that I'm convinced about. What about yourself?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to go shopping at the high end of the market. I would love us to. I think as I said on the last show, I would be quite happy with a trade for Max Crosby. If that's not going to happen, I could see us more likely spending that kind of money on the defensive line. We've tried it before. I see Javon Hargrave is going to get cut again from the Vikings, and fair play to him. He's leaving another team with another loaded dead cap, having trousered the money. Nice work if you can get it. So I'm sure he's very happy. But we're still paying for the contract we had on him. So we haven't excelled, I think, at free agency at any point. I'm struggling to think of a real impact free agent signing in the last few years. We just don't seem to have either. We've gone for overpaid mediocrity, or we've just picked up some bodies who have been fine in some respects. Some of the guys we've signed in recent years, but I would love to see us make that change. But I still think we're probably going to focus more on the draft and try and get younger and cheaper that way.
I'd love Crosby. I mean, he's not a free agent, but I think
no.
Just before you say that, Lee, I think Jed York backed Shanahan and Lynch basically those last few years, big splashes in free agency. But what we've seen in recent years, he's reining that checkbook in a little bit. I mean, Trey Hendrickson was a one that a lot of people wanted us to trade for towards the end of last year. The Bengals have not put the tag on him, so he's going to be a free agent. But again, 31. Coming off an injury, Lee, I think he's going to want big money. I'd rather pursue someone like Crosby or one of these edge rushers that you can get in the draft rather than going after another older player with a bit of an injury history and giving him money, if that makes sense.
So hold on to that thought while I respond to Richard here. So I think I think what it is, Richard, I think Dante Johnson has sold the video he had on Kyle to Brendel. That's the only explanation why they're keen on Brendel. He has some incriminating evidence over Kyle.
I mean, there was some good. You made some good plays. I remember you saying as well, because I think it was one of Baldy's breakdowns.
I did.
Where he had got out particularly well in the run game and made some key blocks. I do wonder whether if he's got a bit of an upgrade either side of him. Potentially that's where we can strengthen the line rather than the centre. Since I think he's under contract, I don't even think Kyle is going to say Tyler Linderhu. I don't think he's going to really be interested. But I could see us dipping into maybe a free agent guard, a kind of mid-range guy, maybe. It depends what we feel about the draft. I think that's one of the key things, isn't it? If you're struggling to evaluate where you're going to pick up the players that you need in the draft, that's potentially where you should spend money in a free agency.
So I think the problem we've got heading into the draft this year, the obvious big need we've got is wide receiver, and it's pointless us using draft capital on a wide receiver
tackle,
when Kyle's not going to play. Kyle's going to stick him on the bench for the first year.
Yeah.
So I think where we are as a team, as an organisation, and I'm not going to say window, because I think the way we built our window is quite a large window. It's staying open. But I think if we went wide receiver early in the draft, I feel as though that would be a waste of time this year.
I can't see us going wide receiver at 27.
No.
I think defensive line is a bigger need, but
yeah. I can see us going defensive line, and everybody on draft day all breathing a big sigh, thinking defensive line again.
So just before we transition down that rabbit hole, Crazy Juice 2578 is he would like John Franklin Myers. I've seen that name kicking about on social media, and I am enjoying Gareth. We're at that wonderful time now where last season's done, and you go on social media and you're looking at your draft crushes, you're looking at like names that you've not heard before. How many mock drafts? Oh, I can see you've been away for 2 weeks, Lee, so your mock draft
Yeah, I've
numbers are
been
going to be
away,
a
so-
little bit down, aren't they?
Yeah, I haven't. I mean, I'm in double figures without a shadow of a doubt. But I haven't done that many this year, to be honest. I've just been so busy.
Yet.
And I've
But-
seen.
It's funny, once I've come back from this 2-week trip to the US, I find myself gravitating towards Texas A&M players.
Well, that's the beauty of not kind of having a college team. But again, I've seen some people think we need to take a tight end at 27, Gareth. That's where I think Tonjes comes in. And I'm just all these names that like Brad Graham, John Chapman are thrown out there doing the breakdowns. And Tracy keeps saying to me, like, isn't it the off season? Why are you watching another podcast about Sam Roosh and Jack Hendries? And the one played for Cal, one played for Stanford. So I thought I'd get the Bay Area in there. And it's just like, Tracy, you know the NFL doesn't stop. So, and
Yeah.
Richard has joined in there. He's put that he can see his goal wide receiver at 27. But as he said there, a lot of people are saying, you know, trenches to battle
Yeah,
Seattle and the
so-
Rams.
It's very possible if we do go
Hello,
wide
Neil.
receiver at 27, it is actually a Texas A&M player. KC
Oh,
Conception.
KC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that mocked more than once.
Do you not think he's too much of a gadget player for Carl's offense, though? I mean, I have seen him mocked towards Gareth at 27, but I just don't know whether he would fit.
Yeah, it's not as though Kyle doesn't do any gadget plays like this.
No, but you know what I mean? Like, at the moment,
Completely unheard of.
we need more of a wide receiver, though, as in, like, you know,
We do.
a number one.
Yeah, an
receiver.
out and out wide receiver with speed to take the top off a defense, keep the defense honest, and let us play the underneath routes. That's
Yeah,
exactly what we need.
because, I mean, you're talking free agents rather than draft, and I knew we'd kind of get the two mixed up a little bit. But Mike Evansley, there's talk that
Yeah,
he's, you know, throwing his hat in the ring, but he's wanting
I'd love Mike
guaranteed
Evans.
touches. And a lot of people are
Yeah.
saying in Shanahan's offense, you talk about the gadget player there, the complementary, but is he going to get the touches that he wants, or would he be happy to come and play in this offense?
And how much is he going to stick his nose into a block? Because we know that Shanahan
Exactly.
sees that as critical.
And will his body
if you-
hold up to it?
Yeah. It'll be a no for Evans on me. A few years ago, maybe, but I think, yeah, he's probably going to be one of those players who's going to be paid more on their previous achievements than their
Yeah.
future achievements, and that happens a lot in free agency. And good luck to those guys, but not for me.
So, because we've gone live and we've got quite a few people watching, I know,
Have we?
I believe we have.
It's not
yeah.
just the three of us,
Not just the three of us.
and those bots.
Do drop in the comments the free agents that you guys are looking at and that we could maybe have a talk about. I mean, David, you're right there. I think Alec Pierce would be on a lot of people's lists, but again, I think he's going to command a lot of money. So do we throw the bag at Alec Pierce? 26 years of age. I mean, look at that. What is it? 21.8 yards per reception over the last 2 seasons. So I wouldn't say no, Lee. But again, is he going to want big money? And are the Niners going to throw big money at that position?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. Would the... Probably not.
I have before. We had Debo and Ayuk on big contracts, along with Kittle and McCaffrey, all on big contracts for pass catches.
Yeah, but-
and I think
yeah,
we're suffering a little bit for it.
Yeah, those are secondary contracts, though, through us, rather than going out to free agency and picking up a wide receiver that way. So, no, I don't particularly think Kyle does that, although he might have learned. Because obviously every time he picks a rookie in the draft, he just benches them. So that could be the way he does it. I'd be
So,
surprised,
There's
honestly.
another name there as well, Lee. Romeo
yeah.
Dobbs. I've seen a few people there. And
Yeah, and Romeo Dobbs would be a lot cheaper than Alex Pierce.
Mhm.
and Neil's gone with Alec Pierce in free agency. Omar Cooper Jr. in the draft would overhaul the wide receiver room. Because let's face it, Ayuk's gone. And obviously,
Oh,
there's
yes.
question
Yeah.
marks over Purcell. They've come out again and said Jake Cowan is someone they like. but he needs to be healthy. So the writing's on the wall there for Cowan, and it's going to be interesting to see which way we pivot when free agency opens and then ahead of the draft, isn't it, chaps?
Well, there is a name, a wide receiver out there, who's going to be coming up in the draft, which apparently John Lynch has had his eye on for some time. And those of us who invested in money in a certain shirt might be able to get to use it. So
Oh God, yes, I saw that.
this is Trey Lance's little brother, who was in
Did
high
you
school.
see that one under the catch he made? Touchdown.
I didn't. I just saw,
it's
and
pretty
it
good,
referenced to Lynch saying that he already kind of, whether he's just being nice, but sort of saying, "Oh, he's got his eye on his brother." Maybe another one.
Right.
So,
Interesting.
yeah. Who knows? Maybe not. Who knows? I might get to wear that shirt after all if he plays number 5. I can't see
Marcus
us.
Robinson's gone somewhere, Gareth. Is that what you're telling us? Is that the breaking news?
I think so. Yeah, I can't see us if we wouldn't pay the money for JJ. Why then give perhaps similar sort of money to somebody else who's new to the system? I know different players, and obviously JJ, as we've said, brings a lot, but he's not necessarily that out and out speed wide receiver one. But we've never really had that. Ayuk's about the closest we've ever had, and I don't think even he was, based on speed. I think it's that separation, it's that crisp route running that Shanahan wants more than just speed. So
I think that's where Romeo Dobbs might come in as well, because I think he doesn't mind in the block game, and I think he's shown he's got that IQ. But another sneaky name I've seen, chaps, whilst we're still on wide receiver, Jalen Naylor, possibly a deep threat who could stretch the field. He might not be that top tier. If Pierce and Dobbs get the bag, is he someone underneath? Like you said, Gareth, it'd be interesting because Shanahan's finally got his quarterback. He's paid Brock. We've transitioned to a more of a passing offense. Obviously, Kittle isn't going to be ready. CMC had a high usage last year. So these are the questions that I agree with Lee. I don't think we're in total rebuild mode. I don't think we smash it all down. I don't think the window's closed. But again, Neil's come in with a question, Lee. Do you think we're going to get an offer we can't refuse for Mac Jones?
Yes. Yes, I do. I don't think the quarterback talent in the draft is great. I think there's a lot of teams with needs. I think Mac Jones proved this year, playing in the right system, with the right offensive coordinator, he can be successful. What would we get from him? I think we might even get a second and a third, not second or a third, because he's proved this year he can step up and he can make the plays. I mean, that game against the Rams when Brock was not playing and we all thought, well, we're definitely going to get beat. He had a hell of a game. He played really well. And he's proved this year, at least to me, that he's a lot tougher than what I thought he was, based on his New England Patriots days. So, yeah, I do think somebody's going to come in, make us an offer that we can't refuse. But I think John Lynch is going to make them work for that. I don't think he'll give them up easy, because I think based off the contract he's got, they're quite happy to go into next season with him and potentially even trade him before the trade deadline, the back end of October.
I could see us getting the best money for him then.
Yeah.
A team who's got some aspirations, they're going to lose their quarterback for 6 to 8 weeks in the middle of the season. That's where you suddenly think, would someone overpay for that half a season rental? Possibly. People do strange things. The Browns exist, the Jets exist. Sorry, Paul, I stole your thunder.
No. I was just going to say Collins put their first round pick for Mac. Simon said, and I was just going to say the same as you, Gareth. I think at the moment before the draft, I suppose the good thing for us is there isn't that many quarterbacks. Mendoza's going to go number 1 at the Raiders, and then the talk around the league, dependent on whether Geno Smith's getting cut, Kyler Murray. But Mac Jones, I don't think his price is that high at the moment, Lee. And I think, obviously, coming out of the combine, this is when you tend to see these deals done, Gareth. So I think you're right. I think we have to ride it out. And I think we might get the deal for Mac more towards the back end, like Gareth was saying. So that's what I was just going to say.
Well, I think that's the leverage, though. The leverage is we don't need to move him on. He's not going to save us that much in the cap. He's happy there. We could always do with a high quality backup. So we can say, well, fine, we'll keep him. If you don't meet our price, someone else might, and you're stuck with Kenny Pickett and Wilson. So there's not a lot else out there.
Turning it round a different way, what would you be disappointed? So say we walk up tomorrow and the Niners have traded Mac away. What's the lowest price that you think we'd get? You'd be disappointed.
Third round.
Right.
If we just get a third round and nothing else, then I'll be disappointed with that. I think he's worth way more than the third round. You're talking the 12th pick overall in the 2022 draft here. To me, like I said, last season, he proved he can play. I'm wanting a second and a third for Mac Jones. And I think we can already replace him with somebody who's a free agent as well.
So I'd seen this, what Collins just shared there. So Collins said apparently a team inquired for Mac. When they heard our asking price, they asked whether that included Kyle Shanahan. So I had seen that after the combine last week. But everyone's got a price, apparently, chaps.
Yeah, and I nothing's going to happen before the draft. I think people are going to see how the draft goes, and maybe I don't think anything will happen before training camp. Maybe people will get scrape together whatever quarterback class they can out of free agency and the draft, see what they've got and see how they feel in the middle of August. And that's suddenly where it seems like a long time away for those draft picks you're giving up. And of course, if you're on the hot seat, if you're the GM on the hot seat, you think, oh, well, if it doesn't work out, I won't be there to lose those picks anyway. So I think that's always the best time to go fleecing.
So what was interesting yesterday, the good teams win, great teams cover, asked me to jump on Lee and play the GM with that stick to the model website. And as I was saying to Gareth off air before we went live, everything that I did, it accepted, which was like, get all the free agents you guys have asked for, restructure the contracts. Now, it was a good bit of fun, but obviously it isn't going to happen like that in real life. And it kind of did get me thinking ahead of today's show, because I know we weren't 100% sure, Gareth, whether we were going to talk about the four fuckers, but we've decided with Nadji not being here, let Kev have a bit more time on the spreadsheet. And we can confirm Nadji isn't boycotting this show just to check if Jimmy Ward doesn't get signed. He has been a bit busy, but it's interesting, isn't it, chaps, at this stage of the league season, what is going to happen?
It is. We've talked about wide receiver and O-line and a little bit on the D-line. I think we've got needs elsewhere. I mean, tight ends, assuming we get Tonjes back. Running back, I think, is sneaky need as well. I think safety, we're a little bit thin. If those guys who held the job down this last season, I think Pinnock is probably going to go. But Siegel needs to make a jump in next year. Jair Brown, there's something there, but he's not really nailed down that starting spot. I think Mustafa probably has, but I think there's probably need at safety as well. So I think we've got needs almost everywhere. I think linebacker and quarterback is about the only places where I don't think we really need anything in terms of assuming that we might perhaps sign a couple of guys in the building. But what about you? Anywhere else you think that's kind of sneaky?
Well, I think you've covered pretty much every single
I have. I've covered every position, so there we go.
You know, exactly.
Nothing like closing the door.
Yeah. I mean,
come on, a long snapper deep dive, Lee. Off you go.
Well, the long snap was just being signed to a new contract. Or did you miss that?
Yeah.
That was this morning, wasn't it?
Well, punter deep dive then.
Yeah. Punter deep dive. Well, yeah, I mean, Morstead's done, isn't he? So, don't know. We'll pick somebody. We'll probably pick somebody up as an undrafted free agent, punter-wise. But you're right. I mean, we need a punter. I thought Morstead was okay.
Let's change this. I did make that rather close.
I liked it though. The look on Lee's face.
Where do I go with that?
Is there a running back you'd pick up if there was a guy who would do maybe say $5 million a year out of some of the running backs that might be available? Is there a running back that you think, okay, because we need somebody reliable to take the load off McCaffrey? Surely.
I mean, I thought Brian Robinson was reliable. We just didn't use him. I thought he looked really good when we did use him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Robinson stay, but I just don't know
Yeah.
whether he wants that much money. And as Shanahan has proven before, you know, he tended to go down the kind of, you know, undrafted kind of plug someone in. I mean, Gareth, I thought you were setting Lee up to say this is where we get Jimmy G back, Debo back, Mostert back,
Well,
we get all the gang
I
back
thought he was
together.
going there earlier as well.
I
Yeah.
was. Well, talking about the Debo. Would you
Yeah.
have him
Yeah,
back for-
Debo.
Yeah, go on then. Take Debo then.
No. No.
Okay. Well, what
He's
would
done.
if he would accept your cash offer? What would you pay to bring Debo back?
I wouldn't pay anything to bring Debo back. He's
Really?
just not
You wouldn't,
interested.
even if you said like 3 million. You
I
still
think
wouldn't
we
take
need
him for
to
that.
be better. We need to move on.
No,
He's
because
not
I think
good for
it's a
everyone.
bad influence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
think
bad
he's
vibes.
he's not solving our problem.
No.
So
Younger,
no.
cheaper.
changing the question a different way when you left Lee with that open.
I know.
loaded.
Yeah, well, I'm all over the place.
So when you said the
Save
safe,
people.
when you said the safety, there's on social media there seems to be undivided about Rick Woolen. He's going to be a free agent from Seattle. Obviously, we know him in division. Is he going to want the money to come across? And obviously, we've got kind of there seems to be a weird thing at the moment where people are going, you know, staffing changes and players going between the two teams. Is he someone you would be happy to have on board at
I've-
safety?
Yeah. I thought it was a cornerback.
Yeah, I think he's a corner.
Or cornerback, sorry. But
Yeah.
he-
Oh,
I
well,
mean,
fair
Yeah,
enough.
I mean-
Corner might be.
He's somebody I'd definitely be happy to take, but I think he's going to command quite a decent wage because he's a good player at the end of the day. I've got no problem with him being ex Seahawk. Didn't have any problem with Uncle Sherm coming over. So no, I wouldn't have any problem with Woolen at all.
because
And to be honest, I think we're going to need a cornerback because if you believe the rumours, Ronaldo Green's probably just going to get traded away.
yeah.
Yeah, funny one that one, isn't it? But it's there's
He's
been a
fallen
couple
out
of
with
times.
Shanahan a
Yeah.
couple of times, yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe corner's going to be a sneaky need as well.
I mean, I think there's a lot of talk, and we haven't gone into a deep dive here. The fact that we didn't get many sacks last year, and the fact that we like to play this wide 9 scheme, and if the front 4 aren't getting the pressure on, then it puts the back land into kind of like, you know, danger. And with Morris coming, is Morris going to stick to that wide 9 scheme? Is he going to have the freedom to change it a little bit? Because I think Morris has kind of played different schemes dependent on where he's been. And we talked last week, Lee, about when he was in LA, he obviously had Aaron Donald and he was able to kind of put those key pieces together. But do you think Shanahan gives Morris the freedom that Salah had? And pretty much, because last year we were all
I would
talking
hope
about
so.
all these players we wanted. Then we went into free agency, went into the draft, and the draft was very defense heavy. It was what Robert Salah wanted. He got. Do you think we kind of see that again? Because let's face it, you always talk about winning your division to progress in the NFL. And unfortunately, we are in the toughest division in football. We've got the Seattle Seahawks and we've got the LA Rams. There's who we need to beat. And if we beat them two, then we're going to be there or thereabouts. But do you see what I mean where I'm going with this, Lee? Or have I kind of gone down a deep rabbit hole 44 minutes into an
No,
episode?
I know exactly where you're going, mate. No, I hope he gets free rein to do whatever he wants because just the same as business, you don't hire people to tell them what to do. You hire people so they can tell you how we're going to do it. They've hired an expert, a defensive coordinator. What's the point of hiring him and then Kyle telling them what to do, which players to get? He's obviously got a style of play, and I think it's a little bit different, not too dissimilar to Salah or to Miko Ryans, but it is dissimilar enough where he's going to need some of his own players in there to bed it down and for it to work properly. So I hope he has turned around and said, look, in the draft, this is the type of player I want on defense. This is going to complement what we've already got on the roster, and this is what will make me successful as a defensive coordinator. And because of what Shanahan's done in the past, I hope he's learned to listen to what his DC said. Obviously, last year, got Salah back for that one-off season, and he gave him free rein as far as the draft is concerned. I can't see us picking that many defensive players this year because we've got so many holes.
Yeah, and we forget that we obviously we lost so many, but we invested a lot in that defensive side of the ball last season. I could still see us going on the D line in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see us potentially get the tackle if we can, and have a replacement in the building for Trent when he does retire. I think that is really important in the first round, because you're not going to get it somewhere else. But yeah, maybe we'll see more mid-round running backs and wide receivers that never ever take the field for us, as has been recent. So on our last show, Lee, we talked briefly about the kind of the fairly low key rumor that John Lynch might have been on the hot seat at the end of the season. I know you started that, communicated that rumor to me. So
Yeah.
did you make of it? I know you wanted to talk about it briefly, but
I don't know. I'm undecided. There could be some truth to it, because let's face it, Jed York's not going to get rid of Shanahan. If Shanahan goes, he gets picked up the very next day. He's picked up within the hour. If Lynch goes, I don't know. You look back over his first round draft picks since he came on, we haven't had great success. Although we have picked up some good players that just haven't done it for us. The likes of Reuben Foster. Reuben Foster was a great player. It was just his off-field stuff that kind of derailed his career. Solomon Thomas, he was too high to pick at that particular spot. I think it was number 3 overall. We took Solomon Thomas. But he still played at a lower-end first-round level, which is no good when you're picking a 3. You want something with impact. But he was still a first-round talent, in my opinion, anyway. And I think he gets tarred with the brush because Lynch took him 3rd overall, which was kind of unfair. Who else have we had? I mean, McGlinchey. I thought McGlinchey was a good pick-up. I think he played well for us. And I think as soon as he went, you could see what a huge difference it was. I think he made anybody on the inside of him better. I think people don't see that. So I think McGlinchey was a good pick. Trey Lance was an absolute shocker, but it happens. I mean, picking up a quarterback, it is difficult. It is difficult. But
and it's Kinlaw and Ayuk, and I think that's been through
Kinlaw.
Those are the first round picks, and and Bosa.
Bosa. I mean, Bosa was like a no-brainer.
Yeah, exactly.
And he shouldn't have fallen to us. I mean,
No,
the Cardinals taking Kyler Murray. that was the gift that just kept on giving. So I think what saves Lynch is all the later round picks where he's absolutely knocked it out the ballpark.
We were saying, Lee, that we don't feel he's on the hot seat. But I did say last week, and I'm smiling, Gareth, because like most people, I'm plugged in to 49ers content. This is the time of year you hear all the conspiracies, you see all the names, you fall in love with the draft crushes, but it's a crapshoot. Let's not be about the bush. As my Tracy says, and I'm going to name and shame really, she's like, you lot are going to talk for hours and hours about all these names, and none of you know who's going to get picked where and who's going to do what. And it's like, yeah, Tracy, but that's the fun.
Content creation.
It's content creation. But like you said, Lee, I think those later round picks do save Lynch. And as I said last night, Kyle Shanahan's one who makes all the key decisions. And we were worried this time last year, had Shanahan evolved into a better head coach. And I think shown what he did last year, he should have been coach of the year for me. I think he has made that progression. And it'll be interesting to see what they do in free agency and the draft this year. So I'm excited for it. And it's obviously we've managed to get 50 minutes of content out of not much.
I don't think it's that far-fetched that Lynch is that there was talk about Lynch being on the hot seat. I think he's enjoyed the benefit of those past picks. We keep talking about he's really hit some late round picks, but not for a while. And there's been some poor drafts in there, particularly the Brock Purdy draft. There is Brock Purdy out of that draft and nothing else. We've picked a lot of players. Remember, we were getting sort of 10, 11 draft picks, and we thought, we don't really need that many players. Why are we getting so many? And then there are people like Danny Gray who do nothing with third-round picks. There's been a lot of that. And I think, as we said earlier, there's been nothing in a free agency signing that's been really good. like a player that everyone else thinks is washed and is done, and we pick up a player, believe in them, and they have a great season. Now we've never done that. It's things like
Raheem
Hargrave.
Raheem Mustard we got from somebody else.
Yeah.
We definitely picked up.
No,
an
but I mean,
undrafted free agent.
like yeah.
Was
but,
it Matt Breida? Did we pick him up as an undrafted free agent?
I think we did, but I meant more like like a Javon Hargrave type signing, where we've
Right,
gone out,
yeah.
spent money on a free agency, and they've been good. Because there was D Ford, I think we've only just stopped paying for him. Javon Hargrave is still paying for him, and these things, they add up. And I think that we have suffered from that, missing the first round picks with Trey Lance, and this season for me, it really showed just how good Shanahan is. And it made me think the last few years, we've always had some concern about some position groups. We haven't been complete teams, and we've kind of known it. We've been relying on rookies or second-year players to make a big leap, to be good enough, rather than being good enough and hoping those second-year players turn us into a great team. I think the roster has always had weaknesses, and we always seem to have that one eye of, we'll roll it over for next year. And that, to me, is just a little bit, we always seem to have,
I
what
agree.
point are we going to go in?
I can see that. I mean, you can see what the team have tried to do with some of the names you've referenced there. And what I was going to say, Gareth, we've got a few people saying like this in the chat. We have a lot of holes. The 12-5 team. We've got a draft better. And I know, Lee, some people joke that we're very positive on this channel. We're very biased towards the team. But I think the last few years we've shown that, we can critique the team and we can criticise when needed. And I think you're right, Gareth. I think Niners fans have got to the right at the moment. In the Shanahan era, we've seen two of our divisional rivals win the trophy we want the most. And I think we're getting to that stage now where, you said it earlier, Lee, you don't think the window's closing, but some of the decisions that they've made, as Gareth has referenced there, it's kind of, held us back a little bit. But I've just put something in our group chat, Lee, because you're better at sharing the screen. What I did want us to touch upon, Gareth, is I don't know whether you saw that the NFL owners had fought not to let these gradings go public. And it's where the players get the end of the year and they get to grade.
I didn't think we were going to see him this year. I thought that was the last
So,
news I'd heard of it. So
as Michael said in the Discord chat, how did you get that, Mr. Hope? I have my sources, i.e. it was all over social media within about 5 minutes of it being shared. But now I'm not going to go through all the categories, but the one that stands out is the training room and the training staff. We got C minuses for both categories off the players. And given the injury record over the years and a lot of talk about the strength and conditioning stuff, I did think that was a bit interesting. And is that maybe an area we need to improve whilst we're talking about the team and free agency and things like that? So, yeah, I sent it to Lee because I'm not very good at sharing my screen, Gareth. Lee's better than me.
Yeah. I'm having to send it from my phone to my iMac and then that loads.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. We might be some time.
But no.
I didn't think they were coming out, so... Well, we'll see. The last thing I will say on Lynch, he could really do with a really good draft and free agency. Let's just leave it at that.
So these are what I was talking about, Gareth. So, A, A's, B's, but it says that training room and the training staff. And interestingly, the team travel. Bear in mind, we've got 2 international games this year. Not in London. I'll just keep banging that drum, but 2 international games. But yeah, there's a few areas there, Lee, that can be improved, but it's going to cost them money. The travel and improving their training room and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting, the training room thing, because that should be a really easy fix, that. That should be a really easy fix. I mean, the training staff should be. Yeah. If anyone knows how to sack somebody, I do. Just let me get on the phone to them and I'll do it.
Other than the size of the facility, that's probably the one thing you can't really change if that's an issue.
But what's interesting, Gareth, the weight room was graded A, but the training room was a C minus. Now, again, we're talking about, elite athletes and the money that's in the NFL. Those stood out for me, Lee, and that's what a lot of people on social media have been talking about, the fact that we were quite low compared to other teams in that category. I mean, it's good to see, head coach A minus, General manager, A-. Team ownership, A-. Defensive coordinator was an A. And obviously everyone's favourite, special teams, was markedly better. I think it was a D or an E last year. So to get a B+ was quite good. So I just wanted to talk about that on tonight's show before we finished off. So sorry about that rabbit hole, chaps.
No, that's fine.
It's more of a rabbit puddle, really. We haven't gone too far into it. I don't know what to say, really. It's nice to know that the cafeteria is good. So
yeah, it is. And before we finish off, Gareth, Lee wasn't here last week, but I made an announcement of my own last week. Lee, I was very excited that, I thought I'd dip my toes back in the water of flag football. It may be short-lived,
I
Gareth.
noticed on
Might be
Instagram.
short-lived. So
yeah.
Mr. Hope picked up an injury at the weekend. So maybe that's the writing on the wall.
Was that your
Lee.
first game back?
Second
game back. Oh, well, not too bad.
Yeah, so
I'd have a word with your strength and conditioning.
I was about to
coach
say, yeah, Tracy.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I think we filled an hour. I don't think we've really made any conclusions or anything. But I never know. I never know what we're going to do on free agency. I still think we're carrying a bit too much dead cap to make a lot of moves. I still think we're probably not there. But at what point do we all go in? These windows are open. This might be the last year, certainly with Trent Williams, but it could be the last year with McCaffrey and Kittle together as well as that kind of unit. So do you think we really go in for it this year? Or is it still going to be, no, let's save and roll a bit over?
If the rumour about John Lynch is true, he's going to want to go all in to try and save his own job.
Mm.
Which is why I can see us making a splash. There's nobody cheaper than Paul Richard.
Now
they don't need to go down that way.
I was going to say, I want to know what this means.
Leeds have scored.
Right. So, to finish off, Gareth, I was going to say to the people that obviously we will be bringing more content, the free agency draft season. I know when I was down at Leeds for the Eagles watch party, Gary Parks and Nadji are very keen to do some kind of show regarding college football because it's something that they're both begin to. And we will be getting other guests on during the off season. We do appreciate everybody's patience over these last couple of weeks. Lee being, as he said, all over the United States. Nadji's been busy. It's been a bit chaotically, to say the least. But we've managed to put some content out there.
Just a quick response to that. What's the score again, Neil?
Oh.
I believe that one was ruled off for offside.
So this is what I talked about earlier, Gareth. I was quite surprised when Gowland said he could come on tonight's show. And then at work today, people were talking about the other game played with the ball. And I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, there's not a Premier League game on tonight, is there?
See, the reason I made the mistake is I took yesterday off as a day in lieu because I didn't get home from the States until 6 o'clock Saturday night. So that was classed as like a working day. So I decided to take the Monday off. And when I've agreed to this, I'm thinking tonight's Monday.
Right. Okie dokie.
Don't know what day of the week it is. Anyway, we should probably wrap
don't.
this up, I think, Paul. I think we're pretty much done, aren't we?
I was just trying to find the button that you pressed. But yeah, I do want to say thank you for everybody who joined us tonight. Thank you for putting your comments in the chat. Do all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, keep those notifications turned on. We will be back. As I said, we do have some exciting plans for the off season. It won't always be as unorganized as this. Any final thoughts, Lee, before I press the button?
It's Tyler Linderbaum or no one. No matter what, Tyler Linderbaum.
I like it. What about you, Gareth? Any names to throw out there before I press the button?
I think we will, but I think we're going to be shopping mid-market, and yeah, let's see what we get. But I think I don't know. There could be something a bit left field.
Well, thanks for watching, everyone, and all that is left for me to say is stay safe and go Niners.
Go Niners!
Bang bang, Niner gang.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, deep card. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor, Jerry Rice down the side.